Good morning, sunshine. This is a practice to start your day. So grab any props that you feel like you might like, knowing that none are necessarily required. And really just give yourself some time to move into all your sleepy spots so that we can greet whatever it is that the day has in store for us. I'm going to start in a kneeling position. And if that's not too terribly uncomfortable for your knees to get going, I would invite you to meet me in the same shape. And if this shape now in the morning or at any point is not a good position to put your body in, skip it. Sit down on your buns, find any form of a seated position that you can handle in this moment, and then try to grow up through the length of your spine. Soften your eyes to close. Soften your shoulders out of your ears. Let's just take a couple of breaths to land. Big, sweeping, audible morning breaths. Maybe one more. And you can welcome yourself to leave your hands wherever they're comfortable. If it happens to be comfortable, I'm going to invite you to consider bringing your hands to the edges of your outer rib cage. So your palms will lay to the lower edge of your rib cage. And the next time you inhale, I would invite you to see if you could completely fill your hands with your breath. Exhale to release your breath all the way to the bottom. One more like that, trying to find an equal measure between the length of your inhale and the release of your exhale. Allow your breath to be three-dimensional so it fills to the edges of your ribs, into your back, up into your chest, and all the way back out. Committed to your own rhythm, take 3 more, just like that. And before moving into fuller movement, consider for yourself if there is an intention, or even more simplified, a single word quality that would be really beneficial to bring into your day now. Maybe you need focus or persistence or patience or forgiveness. Full exhale to let this settle. And then crack your eyes open and release your fingers to the floor. When your next inhale comes, send your arms out to the sides, stretch your whole body all the way up. And then as you exhale, swim straight back down like the air resisted you, fingertips to the floor. We're gonna find a moving kriya with breath. So as you inhale, stretch all the way up to the sky. And this time, let your hands meet overhead. And as you exhale, hands down into the heart. Thread your fingers together with an inhale, flip your palms, reach all the way back out and up. And then as you exhale, release your fingers and swim down to the side, again like you had to push through thick air. We'll do that again. Inhale to stretch and lift through your sideways, through your chest. Exhale, hands down into the heart, finding a prayer in front of your heart space. Thread your fingers, flip your palms with an inhale, stretch. And as you exhale, swim down and release, again following the flow of your breath, so movement is initiated by breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale down into the heart. Thread your fingers, inhale, lift. And exhale, swim to your sides. And very slight variation. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands down into your heart. Thread your fingers, flip your palms, inhale all the way up. And this time as you exhale, take a tiny side stretch over to the right until you feel your left rib cage get really long. Inhale through center, and then exhale to the left. Side to side with a few breaths. Inhale through center, exhale to the right. Inhale through center, exhale to the left. One more each side. Lifting and releasing, letting your breath stretch you long and open. Inhale through center and then exhale to release your fingertips down. Keep the fingertips down, keep the height through your spine, and then draw your chin down into your chest until your head feels heavy, the muscles at the back of your neck get a bit longer. Take a slow inhale, tip your left ear over towards your left shoulder and pause. Just take one breath here. And when your exhale comes, roll your chin down through the center of your chest and tip a right ear over to right shoulder. Pause and take a breath. And go. When your exhale comes, roll all the way back over to the left side. And when your inhale comes, roll all the way back over to the right side. If in your body a different breath rhythm makes sense, you find that your body feels intuitive to move to the breath in a different way than I'm suggesting, override any of my cue with just your internal knowing and follow that. We're just going to take a couple more breaths to open. Awesome. When your chin rolls back down into the center of your chest, leave it there. Inhale, pick up the crown of the head and the shoulders into a slow roll. And exhale, drop that all back and down. Crawl forward onto hands and knees. Find yourself into a space where you're stacking your body up like a table, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and then inhale to softly drop the weight of your belly, roll your chest open, and lift your gaze only if it feels good. When your exhale comes, stretch your whole back by pushing the floor away, lifting your belly into your spine and releasing your head to the floor. Good. Inhale to stretch out through the belly, through the chest, through the collarbones, through the throat. And then exhale and stretch your whole back body. Point your tailbone down and your head down and stretch between your shoulder blades. 2 more. If you feel like you want to make it free flow and wiggly in any spot, go for it. And 1 more time. Good, and then as you inhale, look forward. We're gonna bring our hands forward of our shoulders about 8 to 12 inches. Tuck your toes under behind you and then lift your bum up for your first down dog. And don't worry about making this dog look like anything, really. Just see if you can really press down through your hands so you're stretching your arms, your upper back, your sides. And maybe just give yourself permission to walk your dog a bunch, get dancy in your legs, a little bouncy through the lower half of your body. Let yourself widen your feet if that feels good. Pedal the legs quite a lot if that feels good. Wiggle the hips quite a lot if that feels good. First thing in the morning, the body is stiff, so we just give it space to see if we can flush breath and blood through it. Notice what your breath is doing in this moment. Try to take a really big one like we did at the beginning, out to the edges of your ribs. Awesome. Bend your knees a lot. Walk your hands to your feet at the back. Stand in a way that you feel very steady through your feet, so they're spaced at least as wide as your hips, and then with the softness in your knees, let yourself dangle. Full body dangle here. It might feel good to support your elbows on your thighs if you feel like you have a tender back. You might really like to let your arms hang. One thing I love to do in the morning is thread my hands, rest my hands to the space of the back of my head, and give a little sway to my head and my neck to further release muscles of my neck. If this does not feel good, it feels pressurized, oh my goodness, don't do it. 1 more big breath. If you've lifted hands, lower them with an exhale. And then when your next inhale comes, draw your fingertips up your shins, pull your chest away from your tail. Try to get the whole length of your back body long and flat. And then as you exhale, introduce the rounding back into your knees, every vertebra of your spine, let your head hang. We're gonna pulse between those 2 things 3 times. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through your chest, lengthen through your spine, all the muscles of your back. Exhale, release and fold. 2 more times with breath. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release and fold. 1 more time. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release and fold. Bend your knees enough your hands can find the mat again. We're gonna walk ourselves all the way out to the length of a plank pose. And you could choose at this point in the morning whether your knees are lifted or lowered. Hug your biceps and triceps to center, and as you exhale, point elbows back so you can come down with control. Heart and belly find the mat at the same time. Fire up the leg muscles by untucking your toes, pressing the top of the feet to the floor muscularly. Commit your pubic bone down, and with an inhale, roll your chest open, tips of your shoulders back. Exhale, bow to the mat. We're going to pulse between 2 more of those. So inhale, feel the lift of your chest by engaging your back muscles. Exhale, lower to the mat. Good. Inhale, loop your shoulders back, peel your collarbones open, and then exhale, bow to the mat. And push through hands and knees to come back up through an elongated table. Clarify that your hands are at least 8 inches in front of your shoulders, wide spread of your fingers, and then tuck your toes and lift your bum up high again, downward dog. This time from the downward dog, we're going to keep our knees soft for a moment. You're going to really press down through your hands so you feel a big stretch through your arms, your sides, your upper back. And then you're going to try to tip your tail really nice and high so that you can potentially bring that soft scoop back into the space of your low back if in any way that's rounded. Take one more big breath here. And then look up towards your hands and use an exhale to walk or take one big old step to the top of the mat. Put your feet down into the floor as wide as your hips, and we're going to pulse halfway up one more time. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, release and fold. Let your knees be soft if that gives your back space. Good. Push through your feet. Inhale, stretch the whole body up to the sky, full standing. And then exhale, bring your hands down through your heart. And release your fingertips to the floor. Look down to your feet so you're making sure you're rooting through the 4 corners of your feet. And take one big breath standing tall with chest open in mountain pose, coming back to your 1-word intention you're going to start this bright day with. Let this move you. When you inhale, stretch up high. When you exhale, let your heart lead, take a dive. Let your knees be soft if that gives you room. Halfway up with an inhale, stretch your chest forward. Exhale, release your fingertips. We're going to step our right foot back and bring our knee to the ground. Full invitation to pad what you need to pad. Steady through your front foot. Sweep up really nice and high, low lunge. Now all the choices are yours. If you want to have your hands into your heart or under your hips or holding your front thigh, no problem. See what you can do to keep your pelvis neutralized. So you're really using some deep core muscles to lift up the front edge of your pubic bone, helping you really settle into the stickiness of your hips. Same thing, if you need to pulse into the stickiness of your hips, no problem. And for those of us that feel like it's possible, we're going to bring our hands back behind us, thread the fingers together, and loop our shoulders open like we did in our cobra. Beam your chest open and bright and breathe to the edges of your ribs. One more. Good. Exhale to bring your hands down to find the mat. You're going to pull your hip back so your right hip comes to balance over your right knee, and you may or may not need to skip your left heel forward. Pull your heart up towards your toes until the back of your leg sings to you a little bit, and you could try to create spaciousness into the muscles and the territory of your low back again. Shoulders down out of your ears, the best of your ability. One more big breath. Good. As you exhale, rebend through your front knee. Plant your hands down to the floor and pivot your back foot. We're going to lift the upper body all the way up with an inhale, warrior 2. Take a nice breath in warrior 2. Feel the heat of your hips and your legs as you sink into the strength of this pose. Last breath. Good. With an inhale, straighten out through your left leg. Bring your hands to your hips and pivot the left toes to also face the long edge of the mat. We're going to plug and pop our heels in and lower our body down in a way where we can try to find a squat that brings our knees right over the center of our ankles. So go ahead and space the feet out wider or bring them in closer if this gives us the ability to really find a stacking of our body. Same neutrality that we're looking for in the pelvis. Soft tilt so that we're finding the front edge of the pubic bone picking up, the lower edge of the tailbone pointing toward the earth. And then if it feels possible, inhale, lift your arms up high. Exhale, bring your hands down through your heart. Thread your fingers, flip your palms, lift up. And then exhale, swim all the way back down. And do that Kriya one more time. Inhale, lift your arms up high. Exhale, hands down into the heart. Thread your fingers, flip your palms, pick up. And then exhale, swim arms all the way down.
Straighten the legs. Woo. Pivot both feet so all 10 toes are facing the long edge of the mat. With an inhale, lift your chest.
And then exhale, bow through center and find some space.
Don't really worry about trying to make this pose perfect. Just feel a balance of all four corners of your feet and a stretch from the base of your feet to the back of your tailbone. If you feel like your knees need to stay soft in order to touch the earth, no problem. Take one more big breath. Now look up towards your left foot, and we're gonna walk into a pivot so that our fingertips stay to the floor, all 10 toes face to the front of the mat. You're gonna press down through your hands and step your front foot back to downward facing dog. Now this downward dog is gonna offer some options. So, oh my goodness, maybe that was a lot to start the morning with. This would be a great time to lower your knees to the floor. Let your bum sink down towards your heels, find a child's pose. Some of us are gonna find a really slow, dancey exploration of this down dog because now blood and breath are starting to flush through. We have space. Some of us are ready now for a little action. If you'd like, come with me forward with an inhale to a plank, knees high or low. Exhale, come down to the mat. Cobra pose like we did before with strong legs to help support an open chest. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. Take one big breath here. Look up towards your hands and use an exhale to walk or to step to the top. Come halfway up when you get here, and then fold and let it go. Arms to the sky with a big sweep. Hands through the center of the heart. Remember your word, your quality, your intention. Bring it through your movement so that you can really thread it through the rest of your day. Inhale to lift high. Exhale to take a slow dive. Take your time. Halfway up with an inhale. Exhale to release your fingertips to the floor, your left foot back. We're gonna bring your knee to the ground. Steady through your front foot. Sweep all the way up. Stretch from your hips all the way up through your armpits to your fingertips and find your sweet spot where you can feel all parts working together. The breath remains full, the focus is there, but the stretch of the body is definitely active. If you like, come to a place with me where you thread your fingers together behind you, you're looping your chest open, maybe even choosing to lift your gaze up. Last big breath. As your exhale comes, release your fingertips to the floor, and we're gonna pull our hip back, kick our front heel forward, and pull our heart toward our toes. Good morning, sunshine. Ooh. Deliver one more big breath. Good. When you exhale, rebend through your right knee, pick up your back knee and pivot this foot. When you feel grounded through both feet, inhale and lift the upper body up through warrior two. You might even want to space the warrior two out a bit, sit into your strength and your own warmth. Feel this external rotation of both thigh bones and a lift through each side that allows your chest to stay open. Inhale to send your front leg straight, hands to your hips as you pivot. So all 10 toes face the long edge of the mat. Heels are gonna plug in, and we're gonna try to squat down and find our warmth. Again, finding this neutrality of the pelvis, so that really lights up all the muscles on the inner edges of our groins. And then inhale to send your arms up high. Exhale, hands down through the center. Thread your fingers, flip your palms, inhale. Exhale all the way down to the sides. One more full Kriya, you have this. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands down through the heart. Inhale. Exhale. Good, inhale, straighten your legs. Ooh, that'll feel good. Pivot the feet so all 10 toes face the long edge. Inhale, find length through your sides and your chest. Exhale, hinge through your hips and fold. Long, big, full body breath in and out. Just one more like that. And raising your gaze with an inhale. Again, we're gonna take the low road by pivoting till everything faces the front of the mat, pressing both hands down into the floor and bringing your right foot back to down dog. And then just let your body do what it needs to do. If it needs to pedal, if it needs to sway, if it needs to just really push down into the hands and tilt your tailbone up so that you can feel that whole stretch of your back, do what you like. And when your exhale comes, bring your knees to the earth. Draw your toes together. Draw your forehead down to rest. Child's pose. Notice in what ways your breath has changed. If you're conscious of the movement of your heartbeat, where your thoughts happen to be in this moment. And from here, with an inhale, you're going to stretch your arms forward in front of you. Lift your gaze when you're ready. Come all the way down onto your belly. When you get to the belly, I'm going to invite you to cross your hands, if you hadn't already done that in your child's pose, and lay your forehead toward the floor. And from this space, I'd love you to feel a commitment of the front of your ribs and your pubic bone toward the earth. And then to the best of your ability, you're going to see about bending through your right knee and pointing your right toe up toward the ceiling. Now, for a lot of us, this already provides a stretch. So if that's the case in your body, that's great. I would invite you to stay here. If it's possible, you're going to reach back with your right hand and see if you can connect to your foot behind you. Alternatively, if you cannot connect to your foot, you could decide to try to hold onto your pants, or you could gather something to serve as a prop to wrap your ankle or the top of your foot. If you have a bind of your foot, this is a great time to consider how close you might like to pull your heel into your sit bone until you find a desirable, open, yummy morning stretch. Breathe here for 2. And when your exhale comes, release. And we'll change sides by bringing our right hand back beneath our forehead for our pillow, bending through our left knee. If possible, reaching back with the left hand. And if you don't need the reach, bending the knee and pointing the toe toward the ceiling is enough. Good. Let that be enough and breathe where you are. Choose the option that feels right, whether you're using a prop or not, whether you're binding or not. And allow the front of your pubic bone to remain heavy as you stretch into this big muscle group in your leg. Breathe here for our last 2. And when your exhale comes, release your foot. Last moment with our hand pillow. And then how it makes the most sense for you to get there. Log roll your body now right over onto your back. When you get onto your back body, make sure you have plenty of room on your mat. Have both your knees bent with feet rested to the floor, and send your arms out wide in a capital T shape. Palms can face up or down. I'm going to leave that to you. Both knees together are going to fall to the left, bringing us into this reclined twist. Knees to the left, chest open. Both shoulders ideally have the ability to rest back to the floor. So if you need to take any small shimmies or readjustments so that can be so, please do. And don't be shy to use any of the things that you might have near you, whether that's a cushion or a sweater, a block, to choose to prop your legs if that feels right, under the knees or between the knees. Big full body breath here. One more, all the way out to the edges of your ribs, into your back, up into your chest. And then follow your inhale to lift your knees back through center. Let your feet help guide you to reposition the hips if necessary. And then same thing, knees over to the right. Again, some of us need some readjustment to spread our chest open, to let our arms fall open. Attempt not to do this work with your face, with your hands, with your jaw, with your mind. Let gravity drink your body in and just indulge in these last couple of breaths here. Remember your single word quality and notice if it's changing in any way, if there's more commitment to it, if there's more clarity that perhaps there was a different quality that needed to also be considered. When your inhale comes, knees back up through center, use your feet to help guide the hips back beneath you, and then take a moment to hug everything in towards you. So knees in toward the chest, hands to the front edges of kneecaps or shins. Don't be shy to rock or sway, or curl up into a tighter ball, or even take a happy baby if that's what you feel serves. And then because we're starting our day, we don't want to get too close back into a sleepy state. So I would invite you to bring your feet back to the floor and your hands back to the edges of your rib cage, like how we started. And we're going to end the practice with another few very equalized but completely filling breaths. In through your nose, out to the edges of your ribs, into your back, up into your chest. And all the way back out till your breath is completely gone. 5 breaths like this to your own rhythm, finding equanimity between inhale and exhale. And at this point, I will leave you for whatever it is that your day has in store. I hope it is lovely and perfect, and that this has set you on the path to really get the most out of it. From my heart to yours, namaste.